Hello, I'm Miss Angela, and I will be reading to you today. I would like to read a science story, If Bees Disappeared. So I would like for you to tell me what will happen if bees disappeared. And again, this is a science story. If bees disappeared. Small. Bees are a keystone species, which means they are one of the most important animals in their ecosystem. Bees' ancestors first appeared 270 million years ago. And after millions of years of evolution and a few mass extinctions, honeybees appeared roughly 35 million years ago in Southeast Asia. Today, there are more than 20,000 species of bees around the globe. All bees are pollinators, meaning they carry pollen from one plant to another so that the plants can reproduce. Bees are more efficient and successful at pollination than other pollinators sources like birds and wind. Honeybees are considered a superorganism. This means all the different parts of the hive act as a single organism, and they cannot survive without one another. The queen, who rules the honeybee colony, must remain healthy and mate with the males called drones to produce as many baby bees as possible. The rest of the hive is composed of female worker bees. They forage for food and defend their hive and pollinate flowers. Worker honeybees spend their days gathering nectar to feed their colony. During this process, their hairy bodies get covered with pollen, which they then bees distribute from flower to flower as they slurp up nectar. As the pollen is distributed, the bees are creating a stronger and more diverse flower population. Unfortunately, today, honeybees are threatened by environmental and man-made causes, as well as a disease called colony collapse disorder, CCD. CCD occurs when a whole colony of bees dies at once. Scientists know that disease, pesticides exposure, lack of foraging habitats, and poor nutrition contribute to CCD, colony collapse disorder. If honeybees disappeared, So would most of the plants they pollinate. When pollination creates less plant diversity than bee pollination. Plant diversity is important for the strength and health of an environment. While some plants would be able to survive without honeybee pollination, the crops they produce would look different, be less flavorful, and have a shorter lifespan. The majority of the plants that honeybees pollinate could not survive on wind, bird, or other insect pollination alone. Wind pollination, pollen. If honeybee pollination disappeared, favorite foods like apples, blueberries, avocados, almonds, chocolate, and coffee would become rarer. Fruits are important to many people's diets. If lots of fruits disappeared, wild fruit-eating birds that rely on this food, like the starling, would disappear. This would then affect birds of prey, which rely on smaller birds as a source of food, further disrupting the bird population. If birds disappeared, there would be no natural pest control in gardens and farms, and the dispersal of seeds from fruit-eating birds would stop. Birds help maintain the health of gardens and farms by consuming hundreds of insects a day. Fruit-eating birds carry their gut are dispersed across the land, ensuring biodiversity in fruit plants. Without bees, birds, and our favorite foods, we would be left with a limited variety of crops. Seeds and poop becomes new plants. The loss of these plants, animals, and insects could continue changing the world as we know it. This unraveling effect, called a trophic cascade, would move from flowers to crops, to gardens, to cities, and to countries, eventually landing in our own backyards. From food to medicine to clothing, bees help keep our lives going. Thankfully, the news about honeybees is buzzing with the growing urban farms initiatives, bee responsible growing techniques, and backyard beekeeping. We are able to learn about bees wherever we go. And maybe we will see that Even the smallest creatures can change the world. So, what will happen if bees disappeared? And what can you do to help prevent bees from disappearing? Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.